Help me welcome Walt Sisson.
Thank you, Curtis-Dean. Have you ever been late for work? I have. Woman gets up late, rushing to get ready. She hops in her car, starts driving over the speed limit. She doesn't realize there's a cop hiding behind a large sign waiting for the next speeder. Cop catches her on his radar gun, goes after her, pulls her over, walks up to the car and says to the woman, "I've been waiting for you." And she says, "That's why I drove here as fast as I could." You can use it on the way home from the conference. Are you looking forward to retiring one day? Some heads are nodding. A man decides to retire, and he's got 3 goals: to travel, to play golf, and to spend time with his grandchildren. Problem is, he doesn't have any grandchildren. He's got 4 children, all who are married, but no grandchildren. So he decides to do something about this. He invites his children and their spouses over for dinner. As they sit down at the table, he says, "I have an announcement. I'm going to retire. And I have 3 goals. I want to travel, I want to play golf, I want to spend time with my grandchildren." Kids look at each other. One of them says, "But Dad, you don't have any grandchildren." He says, "I know that. That's why I've set up a trust fund. And I've put $1 million in it. And that $1 million will go to the very first couple that produces a grandchild for me. Now, let's bow our heads in thanksgiving for this meal." He bows his head, says a prayer, looks up. The room is empty. Research shows the greatest source of stress at work is people. No matter how hard you try to get along with everybody, there's going to be conflict, isn't there? It's human nature. By the way, do you feel that certain people in your organization have been hired just to make you miserable? I see heads nodding. You're thinking of someone right now, aren't you? Whatever you do, don't stare at them if they're here. Most people don't realize that humor is a great way to deal with conflict. Humor diffuses the tension and the anger. And here's how it works. Frank Jones was a good employee, but he usually showed up to work 15 minutes late because he was a single father with a disabled child. He'd make up the time during his lunch hour, but his boss was very controlling, wanted everybody to be on time. One day, Frank walks in late again, and this time his boss reads him the riot act in front of his coworkers and says, "Frank, if you're late one more time, you're fired." Very next day, Frank gets caught in a traffic jam. Doesn't get to work until 9:15. Walks into his office and sees his boss standing there, loaded for bear. And all the employees are watching this confrontation. Frank puts down his briefcase, walks up to his boss, offers to shake hands and says, "Hello, sir. My name is Frank Jones. I'm here to apply for the job that opened up 15 minutes ago." I was driving to work one day and listening to the radio, and this story came across the news wire. A man says, "I was headed out east on a business trip. I had to go to the bathroom, so I drove to a rest stop along the highway. I walked into the bathroom stall and sat down. Next thing you know, I hear a voice in the stall next to me say, "So, how you doing?" This had never happened to me before, so I wasn't sure what to do. So I said, "Not bad." Then the man in the next stall says, "How's your day going?" I started to feel more uncomfortable, but I went ahead and said, "Okay." Then the man said, "Where are you headed?" Now I got real nervous, but I still didn't know what to do. So I said, "Out east." Then the man said, "Let me call you back. There's some idiot in the next stall answering all my questions." How many of you think having a good sense of humor is important? Raise your hand. See, everybody values a good sense of humor, but not many people see the value of humor in the workplace. In fact, when someone is having fun at work, what do the co-workers think? Goofing off, not doing their job. They'll never be successful. Well, Dr. David Abramus, a psychologist at Cal State University, he took a look at this, and he found that employees who said they had fun at work were more motivated, more productive, and less likely to be late or absent from work. Ken Blanchard says, "Catch somebody doing something right." Wouldn't it feel good to get caught? William James, the father of modern psychology, said, "The greatest need of every human being is the need for appreciation." Here's a special way to catch a coworker and show your appreciation. And to help me do this, I will invite 5 to 10 people to come on and join me up here, and you'll be glad you did. So come on down, the new Price is Right. And folks, here's how we're going to show these people the appreciation that they deserve. Think about a concert you've been at or an athletic event that was so good you just jumped to your feet and gave the performer, the athlete, your best standing ovation. Now, quadruple that amount of enthusiasm. And on a count of 3, you are going to leap to your feet and give these deserving people. Are you deserving?
Yes!
You see, we got the right people up here. You're going to give these deserving people the most stunning, the most staggering, the most stupendous standing ovation they ever dreamed of. 1, 2, 3. Woo! You know what, LaWanda? They'd have kept going if I didn't come up here. How did that feel?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Jackie?
Great.
Great. Monica? Excellent. Bonnie?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Pat?
It was great.
It was great. Shirley?
Super.
Super. Catherine?
Made me happy.
Made her happy. Marla?
Stupendous.
Stupendous.
Wonderful. Now I know how Springsteen felt.
Wonderful. Now I know how Springsteen felt.
Great.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I've got some Moomba buttons for you. See me after the program. You're welcome to take a, give them a hand. And as they're returning back to their seats, I will mention this. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. We give entertainers and athletes a standing ovation for the work they do. There is nothing wrong, and there is everything right with giving each other a standing ovation at work. So the next time you come to work, make this announcement. I'm here! I showed up. It wasn't easy. I deserve a standing ovation. And see what happens. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are people all across this country doing this as a result of this program. Many of them are still employed, I think. I'd like to share a final story and some final comments with you. Beth Rukamp says, I work for a company that makes condoms. And one day, one of our sales reps was at the airport to fly to a trade show. She's rushing to her gate when her briefcase suddenly flies wide open. Dozens of condoms spill all across the floor. She gets down on her knees to scoop the condoms back into her briefcase. The bystanders are just staring at her. Embarrassed beyond belief, she looks at them and says, "It's okay. I'm going to a convention." Thank you.